Oh, we doing it?
Yeah, we're on doing it.
All right. Well, so honestly, that's the biggest thing that always pissed me off about the Grand Theft Auto games. It was just like the cops always know exactly where you are, no matter what. And like, I wish people actually had like, rather than just walking around, imagine if they could like were going actual places.
Like they had agendas and shit.
Yeah, that's the NPCs I need.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. If you
I hear
kill a
you.
guy on the street, you find out how many family members he's
Yeah,
leaving
yeah,
behind.
exactly.
Yeah,
The
that'd
cops
be
yell
great.
at you for that specific crime.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wake and a funeral and everything.
Hey, they did it in Cyberpunk. They can do it in GTA.
And you're going to jail, goddammit.
You're going to the whole jury selection.
They cry on the stand afterwards. I got a wife and family.
That's like a mini game. You have to look the guy's wife in the eye as you're getting sentenced.
You have
There's
to
an
convict
option to
him
fake
in
tears.
front of his family. That's what you have to do. You have to put him behind bars in front of his family.
Yeah, that's true. You have the option to either cry or mean mug it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Nerd Shit Live. I am your host, Pat Naparano. I forgot my own name there for a second. With us this week is our special guest. Give it up for Casual Dan, everyone. Yeah, give it
Jazz
up.
hands.
Jazz hands, jazz hands.
Let's get casual.
Always.
What's up, guys, happy to be here.
Always here, too, is our good friend Nick Haberstroh, making all the graphics. We have some real special ones coming for you, but goddamn it, we need an excuse to use it. And, of course, the ever-humble Joe Enright. Here he is. Check out that sign he made in the background. You want to know what, Joe? I doubted you on that because you sent us one of those, and you were like, why don't we just make it on our own? I was like, he always does that. But nope, there it is. There it is in the flesh. You did it. You made it, bro.
$40 later. There we go.
$40 later.
Yeah, dude.
Pretty much. I mean, how much was it to just order one? Like 50?
$80.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'll stop talking then. Also, don't be bothered by
Yep.
Danny's video feed continuously changing throughout the night. I don't know how to fix that. So, how's everyone's week? Quite a week from this week to last week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I just feel a lot less stressed out.
Yeah.
I'm sweating right now.
a little bit less. The tone has changed, one could say. The vibe has gotten a little bit better all around. You know, I know some people who have gotten their appointments for their vaccines actually. So that is that right there. At least I think is a heaven sent. But it would appear, as per usual, because that's the show that we do, that we have some news for this week. And I closed my there it is, and I closed my Word document. But we're back. So first up, though, guys, apparently Christopher Nolan is no longer going to be working together with Warner Brothers. And this is kind of a big deal considering we have heard in the past such quotes, especially regarding to the HBO Max situation, that Christopher Nolan's relationship with WB was one of the one things in Hollywood that you could 100% count on. So he obviously didn't like the way the HBO Max rollout was handled because, you know, they basically went behind filmmakers' backs and said, we're not putting your movies out in theaters. We're subsidizing all the money that could have made to prop up our piss poor streaming service. So, I mean, like, is he in the right? Like, is this something we want to support?
Right where they should have warned filmmakers and they should have warned actors. I understand why they didn't, primarily because they wanted to control the narrative that they were doing this. They didn't want filmmakers going to the press first. But I mean, at the end of the day, I put hot take. I think Christopher Nolan is a baby back bitch.
Whoa.
I personally think he's a baby. He's
Bro,
an absolute baby. This
first
is a different
show.
world we are living in right now. It is a different world. If he wants his movie to be seen, it's got to go on the streaming service.
Or
And
wait,
they said
just wait till next
only going
year.
to be 2021. It's going to be 2021 releases. He doesn't have a 2021 movie coming out. I think Christopher Nolan is a whiny little baby.
Actually, you know what's funny
I
about
said
this? He himself came out and said that he wasn't pushing for a theater release this summer. That was Warner Brothers, like trying to get that movie out the door to try and recoup something. And over the summer, you know, when cases were down and you weren't in the United States, that was possible. However, that is not the climate that we're in now. And unfortunately, it's looking like it's going to be a while before we can even get to where we were over the summer, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, ultimately, if Christopher Nolan leaves Warner Brothers, is he out of work forever? No, not at all. He's going to go straight to Paramount.
He's going A24.
A24. No.
The rest of them.
Paramount actually was the ones that put out Interstellar. I didn't realize that. That's the one movie he hasn't done.
Did they?
Yeah, on that level with Warner Brothers. So he has other relations around Hollywood that he could easily get a film made. Not only that, if he said he wanted to self-produce it, I'm sure people would invest in it, you know? But ultimately, it's just kind of sad that this is like really, like this is what they're fighting over. You know what I mean? Like, come on,
Yeah.
this was their only.
Yeah.
It was either they do this or there are no movies. You know what I mean?
And I mean, one other option where you could go is, what was it? Oh, Universal, where Universal has a deal with AMC for exclusive theater releases, where they judge whether or not they're going to keep it in theaters by first weekend gross,
Right.
however much it grosses. And then after that, then they decide whether or not it's going to go to streaming or if they're going to keep it there. So I figured that would be a good fit for him, because then he'd at least, no matter what, get it into theaters before they decide whether it's going to go to a streaming service.
I mean, I just kind of feel like at that point, you know, what's the point? Because, like, what metric are you judging that off of? Like, you can't even sell nearly as many seats as you used to be able to sell. You know what I mean? This is all
Now, I
provided
think
people
the
even go to
number
the
is-
theaters.
I think the number is $50 million they're trying to reach, which is not going to happen.
Not going to
until
happen
the
when
time.
Tenet
It's
only
not
makes like
gonna
38 in the United States. Well, either way, I guess we'll just have to see what he does next. I don't think anything's set in stone, and I'm sure if they threw enough money at him, he'd come back. That being said, speaking of throwing money at a corporation, earlier was it on Friday or Thursday, Microsoft announced that they were increasing the price of Xbox Live by 100%. So I don't know about you guys growing up. I was an Xbox kid, and it sucked that not only did you have to pay $60 for games, you had to pay $60 to get an online subscription for the year. And you couldn't even use apps like Netflix or your web browser. You couldn't do anything unless you paid to get the subscription to the online servers for you to use your Xbox. So it was already kind of a kick in the balls, especially when all the PS3 kids like had free internet. At least on free online games. Yeah, that didn't change until PS4,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So it's kind of a kick in the balls already. I mean, but we had infinitely better features. That being said, though,
But you got to pay for them.
it was
three for the common man.
for the really? It's for the common man. That's why it cost $700 when it came out.
700 flat, and then you never have to pay again.
True.
700 flat.
That's
Nothing. The
true.
games came
That's
free.
true. One-time payment.
And Bill Gates isn't in your pocket then.
He's not putting microchips in your system. So, pretty much though, what we saw here happen is this came out, and what do you think gamers did? They fucking freaked out, and like 1,000 people on Twitter said they were gonna burn Microsoft to the ground, and they were just like, all right, maybe we'll reverse this. You know, maybe it wasn't a great idea to double our online price at a time where everybody's stuck home without a job playing video games. Maybe that wasn't the
we saw what
smartest
happened at the
move.
Capitol. We know you're telling the truth.
We know what's coming. Don't fuck this up. So, I mean, like, look, it was a huge kick in the balls, and I understand the business move. They want to push people towards Game Pass, because when you get a Game Pass subscription now, there is no annual fee. You
It's a
pay
godsend.
you pay monthly, and you get an Xbox Live subscription, and you get access to all those games. And They define Xbox as not a console or hardware anymore, but as an experience. Unfortunately, not everybody sees it that way. Until Microsoft starts putting out some solid exclusives, then I don't think it's very much of an experience at all. However, an update to this story, which was yesterday, did they do this? Or was it, maybe it was Friday night. I think it was like Friday at 2 a.m. I saw the tweet. Engadget had reported that Xbox is reversing that policy, and not only are they reversing it immediately, they're actually finally giving into the demands of gamers who, like, they would charge for Fortnite. Like, you could download Fortnite, but you couldn't play it because you needed to have access to Xbox Live. Like a free-to-play game. Same with Warzone. Same with other just free-to-play titles. They have finally reversed that. Their initial, we're doubling this price. And they have reversed those policies as well. Saying that, hey, pretty much their press release said, like, in so many words, hey, we fucked this up. We read the room wrong. Let's make it better.
How quickly they realized it, too. They realized as soon as that press release came out, they saw the flag. They were like, okay, never mind. Jesus.
Hey, our social media girl, she's crying in the bathroom, so you guys got to do something about this.
You made Janice cry.
Pretty much.
So wait, what was the reason behind this? Because I was a little confused by the article that you sent over, but it looked like they did this on purpose in the hopes to push people in the direction of like looking into or purchasing the Game Pass.
That's literally what I just said not 2 minutes ago.
But you gotta make it more convincing.
What? I mean, I'm not the one trying to convince people to buy Game Pass.
I'm just confused. I know, I'm kidding, but I'm just confused by that whole move, I guess. So they're trying to phase out the Xbox Live by doing it?
I think once again, Microsoft is completely tone deaf to their actual player base and gamers as a whole. The average age of a video gamer is 37 years old. A lot of those gamers don't have time to play hundreds of games that are at your disposal through Game Pass. Some of them would rather just pay the $60 a year to get online access and then, pick up the 2 or 3 games that they get a year, like COD, Assassin's Creed, and like something they're really looking forward to, They don't really need all that access. And plus the fact that there's no annual price. There's not a one-time fee. You know what I'm saying? It's that Game Pass model is built specifically for subscriptions. There is no cutting. There is no cheaper fee, so to speak.
I'd like to understand what you're saying, but I don't because I've used Xbox Game Pass due to your suggestion, and it's just like if you're gonna talk down on it, that means you just haven't used it yet.
I mean, I agree with that as well. Personally, it's amazing. I only use it on PC. So for me, it's only $10 a month. I get all those games. I have time. I make time to play those games, so I don't find myself in that situation. However, I do know if I was 10 years ago playing an Xbox 360 and they doubled the price, I would immediately just seek out a PS3 because it wouldn't be worth it to me. $120 for stuff that's already in my house? Criminal. Absolutely criminal.
I love the business strategy of let's try and push people towards the Game Pass and piss them off as much as possible.
That's what I'm saying.
From
Like,
Xbox Live. It's gotta love the business strategy.
But let's look at Game Pass real quick though. We've gotten Doom out of it. We've gotten The Sims out of it. We've gotten
it broke. The Sims broke multiple times, but we got it.
We got it.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Madden 20.
Madden 20?
Madden 20, yep,
Okay.
Where Matt was really bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right.
So yeah. Oh, Rory McIlroy, PGA 2015 got that out of it.
Classic.
So many fun games, all for free.
You want to know what's funny is that I ask myself who's the people that play all this. Who's the people that play all the sports games? I'm glad it's you guys. I'm glad it's you guys.
Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're really bad.
All right. Well, speaking of sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Turns out that there's a new Knights of the Old Republic game coming from not EA and not BioWare, ladies and gentlemen. That is to be celebrated That is to be celebrated. The claws of Star Wars. I mean, the claws of EA are finally out of Star Wars and BioWare, who, by the way, I don't think anyone here has played Anthem at all. One of the worst games to ever come out. Development they claimed it started like 6 years in advance. Development really didn't even work for like the first 11 months. It was one of the worst things anyone had ever played. They devoted their time to relaunching the game and trying to make it better. However, they just didn't come through, and Anthem really sucks. And it was poised to be like an awesome, awesome like Iron Man simulator. The same thing with Mass Effect Andromeda was a really poorly received Mass Effect game, because really BioWare has just lost that magic to make good games, I think. Now, they're about to reclaim their title as some of the greatest developers ever, because in the spring, they're putting out Mass Effect, the remastered trilogy or whatever, so a whole new batch of gamers is going to play that, and those games are still great. But yeah, another Knights of the Old Republic without EA and BioWare. I hope it's a young, hungry studio that really wants to make an impact on the industry. So, Danny, I know you've played KOTOR before, right?
Yeah, I mean, just when you told me the news that a new Knights of the Old Republic is coming out, I didn't think that news could get better until you told me that it's not going to be EA or BioWare. Just the Knights of the Old Republic games were amazing. They were so good. I played the first one easily 5 times all the way through. The second one was kind of weird, but it was still really good. But it was just, the story was just all over the place. But and then I did play the MMO for a little while. And that was just like, it was fine. Like, the story was cool. It was definitely a step ahead of other MMOs out there. And I'm sure people who actually play MMOs would probably take, issue with me saying that. But I did really like it. I thought the story was good. The character building was really cool. But at the end of the day, it's an MMO where you just have to grind for hours and hours. But no, I'm really excited to see where they take it. Plus, the main character from Knights of the Old Republic, the MMO, just completely shit on his character development. And so I'm really excited to see if they can actually take that character again and build something better with him. I'm really pumped about that game. And now I can't wait to read literally every single article about it.
Yeah, it makes me excited because I've actually never played the first 2, and I have them on my computer, and I should really start sinking some hours into them.
Guess where else you can play them? Xbox Game Pass.
Why not?
Why wouldn't you? At this point, why wouldn't you?
Or $1, whatever it was.
Nick, you should get Xbox Game Pass at this point.
I guess so.
It sounds like that's the way it's going.
I'm a PlayStation guy, but I guess
I'm
outvoted here.
I'm all about that free
Nick,
internet.
I'm a PlayStation guy too, but our roommate has an Xbox, so that's the reason I know so much about all this.
I really think you guys can be PlayStation guys when you don't have a PS5. Anyway, moving forward, so we got sent this article late in the day today, but I'm going to throw it over to our buddy Nick right now. Nick, why don't you tell me what's going on with Marvel and a certain face-off star?
Well, so basically, I just saw an article earlier today that was talking about Marvel trying to get Nick Cage back as Ghost Rider. Now that this
Nick Cage, bro.
Stop.
Thank
That
God.
should have never been released.
So I was just looking at the article, right? I didn't bother reading it before I sent it to you guys, so I just sent it. But just kind of like musing on like Nick Cage interacting with like Doctor Strange and all these other characters blows my mind that this isn't like Marvel's #1 priority right now. Like that's some quality that no other Marvel character has. Because you think about all the movies they've been churning out, right? And it's just always like, the origin story, and like Doctor Strange is a lot like Tony Stark. Nick Cage, you can't put him in any kind of box. He's going to bring some special magic to that. So then I was reading the article, and it went further on saying that there's also speculation that DC is trying to get Nick Cage for the Flash movie for a multiverse as Superman, to bring back Tim Burton's Superman.
Get the fuck out. That would be awesome.
So I know both of these are very much speculative, but what I want to know is, which would you guys rather see? DC Nick Cage or Marvel Nick Cage?
Okay. Immediately right off the bat, I would rather see him as Ghost Rider and the reason for that is because Marvel has offered Keanu Reeves a significant role in every film they've made since the Avengers, and he says he just hasn't found the right one. It would be amazing to see both of them lined up as different Marvel characters in the same movie. Just because they would definitely, give a little bit of a wink and a nod to the audience and play off their like weird quirks, I think that would be fun. Not that I think either of them are like really like any like amazing actors, but I think that would be fun. But that Superman shit, that should have never been. They should have just burned all those photos before they came out.
I want the Superman one just for that photo. That's all I want. That's all I want. I don't care. I really don't care about Nick Cage in the Marvel universe. I want that photo over Nick's shoulder.
That's what I want. Goddamn it.
Preference?
Again, just because of that photo, I'm going Marvel all the way. There's a reason that was canned.
The exact opposite of me.
There's a reason that was canned. It's because somebody, again, Tim Burton got his hands on it. What's her name? Helena Bonham Carter. She got in it somehow too. Johnny Depp's in there.
Johnny Depp was 2 seconds away from being Lex Luthor.
Yeah, shaved head and everything.
Yeah.
But so you're telling me they made a dark and gritty Superman, and they didn't choose Nick Cage to be the dark and gritty Superman? He would have been. Can you just imagine, like, Superman being like, fuck.
1 A B C D.
The most amazing thing you've ever seen.
I think they do that campy route with like the next rework of the Fantastic Four. Like, the bar has never been set lower, so just make it as bad as possible.
If Nick
and maybe
Cage,
it'll be good.
If Nick Cage punched people in the face like he does in the bear suit in The Wicker Man, I would watch that Superman movie for sure. Like, no flying, no cape, nothing. He just has that bear suit on, and he's just punching.
He can leap over tall buildings, but that's it.
Yeah, that's his only power.
Doesn't he like dropkick Kathy Bates in that movie too?
No, I don't think it's Kathy. I don't think it's Kathy Bates he drop kicks, but he drop kicks someone that looks like Kathy Bates, and like to the point where like he's like flying across the room with his. Yeah, dude, that movie's awesome for those scenes
doing a
alone.
judo kick.
All right. I think we're running out of time for this segment, so we're just gonna go ahead. Listen, we are gonna talk about Space Jam. There's 2 stills out there. We're all excited. We like the first movie. Danny's a big fan of Michael Jordan. What? What are you about to say?
This is with This is with LeBron James now.
Right.
This is with LeBron.
Right, but I was talking about the first movie.
Also, and also the biggest storyline that I've seen so far is about LeBron James's hairline. That's about all I've seen. Apparently, he got plugged for this movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, the hairline is back. Thank God.
Did you think Disney
So
who made Space Jam? Do you think
really
the producers were like, you got to fix that shit?
Yeah. Well, you got to think. If you guys watched the Bulls documentary that came out over the summer, it was cool seeing the behind the scenes of Jordan on set, where they actually made him his own. Like they set up a court and everything. They had like all the best teams and players in the league come over, and he would just have a scrimmage with them, so he could do the movies and stay in shape too. They just took that whole budget for the court and the teams, everything, and just put it into his hairline.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
So I can't wait for that behind.
Well, the problem is because nobody told him on set. And so someone's like, you got to fix this shit in post. Man, this looks awful. There you go.
Headband.
That's a post-production.
Yeah, right.
I like how Bugs Bunny hasn't changed once in like 20-something years.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, he looks...
Well, I fixed it.
Yeah, why fix what's not broken? You think they got rid of Lola Bunny's parts? You think they learned their lesson?
They better not have.
Yeah, Nick's a big furry. He's...
But I was going to say... I mean, we can go through this one, but the first movie, I think growing up, I definitely had an appreciation for it. When I go back and watch it now, it does not hold up at all.
Not at all. I think
the idea of Space Jam is way better than Space Jam.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those movies where it's iconic for the time it came out, for who was in it, and for how it was made. But if you watch it for anything other than those things right now, it won't deliver. I imagine this will be better just on the basis of we have come really far when it comes to like writing and animation. But I just LeBron James, it's just, is he going to be able to carry a full Space Jam movie, a full family comedy? I guess we'll find out.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I just feel like, again, he's obviously a great player, but he's way more divisive than Jordan too.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, like he has so many, like he has shows that he's the executive producer for. Like he's done a lot of other stuff. I think he actually may be able to hold his own acting wise, as opposed to Jordan, where none of his comedic marks were hitting at all. But
that's a good point.
He wasn't an actor.
Are we going to see Wayne Knight? That's what I want to know.
That is the most important question. Is Wayne Knight coming back? And Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, yeah.
That's true.
He's going to look very aged, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, we're moving on right now. And so did you guys didn't check the internet at all today around like 12:30, right? Not at all? Because it was almost like fucking Twitter. It's the Sabbath. It was almost like Twitter exploded because the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer finally came out.
Oh, damn.
And we're going to fucking watch it right now on this very show. Now, just a little background before we get started. Who here saw King of the Monsters? Was I the only one who saw that? That was the one before this one.
Probably, yeah.
And then you guys all saw the...
I didn't see it.
You guys all saw the original Godzilla, though. The one that came out in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it. I'm a bad boy.
You haven't seen the 2014 one at all?
I've seen the Matthew Broderick one.
Okay, well that's good too. I like
that counts.
That counts. That definitely counts. So basically, little setup here since you guys haven't been keeping along, and I guess for anyone who hasn't. This movie is actually a remake of a 1962 film called King Kong vs. Godzilla, where they did this, in the 60s with dudes in suits. It was actually the first Godzilla movie I was introduced to by my older brother. And I never thought they would remake this movie ever, but I definitely didn't think it would be the fourth sequel in a line of new Godzilla movies, or new MonsterVerse movies, I guess they're called. So let's just go ahead and watch it, and then we'll discuss it. You guys can see, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
This is our only chance. We have to take it. We need Kong. The world needs him to stop what's coming. And this child, she's the only one he'll communicate with.
I knew that they had a bond. She had nowhere to go, so I made a promise to protect her. And I think that in some way, Kong did the same.
No.
Wrong. Wrong.
It's Godzilla.
I love the guitar riff.
Godzilla's out there and he's hurting people and we don't know why.
There's something provoking him that we're not seeing here.
I'm of the same opinion.
The myths are real. There was a war. and they're the last ones standing.
I keep reaching for greatness because I'm built from it.
Who bows to who?
Nobody gonna stop me. Here we go.
Kong bows to no one.
Thank you, IGN, for fucking sticking that in the trailer at the end. That was
Have
great.
you or loved
No,
one-
stop. I haven't.
Hold up.
No,
let's
not a
let's watch
sponsor.
it.
Okay,
Not a
all
sponsor.
right. Oh, wait, we're running an ad right now.
We're gonna get pulled.
We're gonna get pulled. We're gonna get pulled.
Dude, we'll get paid for this.
That's true, actually.
All right, so
Pulled and paid.
discussion time. What do we think? Looks good, right?
I'm glad
Godzilla's
that-
out there and he's hurting people and we don't know why.
Well, okay. Actually, let's get into that. For 2 movies now, they've set him up as the environmental. These movies are all about being Godzilla being like a force of nature, as opposed to like this malevolent like being, right? Where his whole job is to rid the earth of like whatever is like not cool with it at the moment, right? Whatever. I don't know. They're not well written. However, I think that whole storyline they're setting up of like Godzilla not being himself is because that's not Godzilla. I tend to believe that is Mecha Godzilla because
Fake out.
Exactly, it's a fake out because in the original 1974 Godzilla film, when Mecha Godzilla shows up, they look exactly the same. Like they both have like Mecha Godzilla has like a flesh like Godzilla lookalike thing going on.
He's got a fleshlight.
Yeah, he's got a flashlight. He's got a Godzilla flashlight.
It's a big one too.
It's
It's huge.
To scale.
It's massive, and
It's
he
a-
doesn't wash it.
it's a big one too.
It's just chilling on the beach.
Wait, can you unshare your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go to grid view up top.
There you go. How's that?
Hey.
There we go.
Better?
Yay.
Better? Everyone better? Okay.
Yep.
Well, either way, so
I just saw it.
it's a big one. It's a
Bring it
big.
back to its roots. Come on.
It's a big one too.
It's huge.
I can't fucking. So
It's the same size as Kong's hand. You know that much.
Did King Kong progressively get bigger?
yeah. So actually,
Yeah.
Kong Skull Island, which personally I think out of the new Godzilla movies, I think the best one is the King Kong one.
That movie is hilarious.
Yes, it is. It takes place in the 1970s at the tail end of Vietnam, and Samuel L. Jackson is in charge of like a platoon that goes to Monster Island, or not Monster Island, Skull Island, to like go kill Kong. And Tom Hiddleston's in it, Brie Larson's in it, John C. Reilly's in it. It was pretty good. I actually ended up, now in retrospect, I like that movie more than I do any of the new Godzilla movies, which is weird for me to say. At least I think so. But
Hey, I mean, John C. Reilly, Millie Bobby Brown, you know.
oh, that's true. Yeah,
About the same.
So Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler were the only 2 actors from the last movie to make it into this one. So, because they like do like a rotating cast type of thing, but I guess they're trying to establish some sort of continuity now. I don't think the story is gonna be particularly good. I don't think that's what people are gonna watch this movie for. However, I do think I hope that's not like the finished special effects. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I understand why they do giant monster battles at nighttime with like a lot of RTX reflective light because it looks a whole lot nicer. But man, they looked rough during the daytime, huh? They did not look great.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I heard somebody
That-
rationalization is that like,
Looks better than that.
does it though?
That Godzilla interest is pretty cool.
What, how he came up through the boat or whatever? Well, that's the thing is that like when I first see him cut through the boat, I was like, okay, well that's definitely not Godzilla because they made a whole plot point in the first movie about how he literally swims under the boats before he comes back up. So that's why my theory kind of, I feel like that's where they're going with this because there's no, like, they're both good guys in their own movies and now they're going to fight each other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really see that happening. So
you think this is Mecha Godzilla, and then real Godzilla is gonna come at the end and help King Kong or something? I don't know anything about Mecha Godzilla.
Okay, I tend to believe. Well, they established in the last movie that King Ghidorah, who was the main villain in that one, the reason that Godzilla was so aggravated by him is because he was not in the natural order of the Titans, which is like, you know, that's what they're called now, Titans. They're like just animals as opposed to like, you know, a radioactive lizard. It's just an animal that was made, like that just biologically was evolved to that size. But either way, they already established
Godzilla's playing God.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's Godzilla is natural selection.
It's true to his name for sure. But my point is that they established aliens exist. So Mechagodzilla is a creation of a group known as Apex, as well as influence with alien technology. So I would.
Oh shit! They gotta tie in like Alien and Predator. Oh, this is how they're gonna do it.
This is it. This is Nick knows. Nick knows. Either way,
it all comes together.
All my crazy bullshit nerd theories aside, I definitely think it's at least going to be, at the very least, an enjoyable, entertaining popcorn movie for 2 hours. You know?
Yeah.
It's big monsters fighting. You can't go wrong.
Well, that was the other.
Using a fleshlight too.
Using a fleshlight.
And there's that. Yeah.
Facts,
well, that was just the thing, is that the complaint about the first Godzilla movie is that there wasn't enough Godzilla. So the second movie, they were like, okay, we're going to put him on screen anytime that we can. So that now that they went through with that process, you know what I mean? It's like, do they pull it back more or do they add more Godzilla now? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can get any more, but it shits all over the human story. You know what I mean?
It's a trick question, Pat, because it's Mecha Godzilla.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
I'm just excited to see New Metal coming back. I think that was Fort Minor in the trailer.
Yes, yeah.
I was excited to say, this is Fort Minor.
I'm excited to see Brownie Bobby Mills in something else other than
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Oh, Enola Holmes.
Is he the Neil Patrick Harris looking guy?
Yeah, who is that actress?
I have you guys just said something totally different to each other, so I don't know what to
Who's
answer.
the actor and who's the actress in that movie?
I don't know who the actor is. He doesn't.
Oh, who is that?
And
Was that Armie Hammer?
Oh my god,
wish.
that would be amazing. Oh, could you imagine?
He's one of
if
the cannibals on
they imagine?
Kong Island.
What do you think it tastes like?
Yeah, Armie Hammer's one of the cannibals.
You guys ever eaten a chimp before?
He's one of the cannibals.
You know what? I'm kind of upset. Actually, we didn't talk about that because I didn't realize he like messaged somebody and was like, "Yeah, I shot a deer and I ripped it still beating hard out of its chest and I took a bite out of it."
There's been worse developments every day.
Oh yeah, and like
he's like smoking DMT now online.
Like, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I think it's just like, obviously, like, I think it's like a sick kink or like a sick fantasy that he's having, but like, Jesus Christ, man, like, can you reel it in? Like,
the thing is,
talk about oversharing. Like,
I didn't realize that he comes from like a rich family. Like I think he comes from like an oil tycoon family. So you know for a fact that all this is stemming from like these eyes wide shut parties that he's been growing up and like going to.
Yeah,
and now it's not enough, and he's just taking it to another level.
He's from the Arm, like, you know, Arm and Hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, Armie Hammer.
That's his family.
Makes
Armie
sense.
Hammer.
Makes.
I always wondered if there was some stupid correlation.
I think I think his grandfather his name is like Armand Hammer.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, in the words of the great Bill Burr, you know, the meeting where they meet under the mountain and fuck, that's him. That's what he goes to for sure. But
well, that's what he used to. Now he's in the public eye. He can't get away with that.
Dude,
stuff.
he definitely could. I guarantee you, if he ripped out someone still beating hard and took a bite out of it, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Especially everyone at like that party would look and be like, "Is that Armie Hammer? Is that the guy from The Social Network?"
Just get ready. You know that John McAfee documentary that came out? You know, like, he went to a remote island and all the natives are just like, he keeps pooping on us. That's a real story, too. I'm not making that up. They're going to do the same thing. 5 years and being like, Army Hammer went to the Cayman Islands, never to be heard from again. Here's his story.
Well, I just started pooping on their feet one day, and they accepted me as their own.
Then that's mad luxurious.
All right. That's true. Far and away from Army Hammer and his legal team. All right, yeah, there's our Godzilla flash. That is actually a Godzilla flashlight. Oh my god.
Wow.
Nick, where'd you find that, and how much was it? And can you send me the link?
It's from 1998, so it's pretty cheap.
That means it's mature, dude. That memes it is of age to be used.
Yeah, it's true.
Fleshlights, when they're born, they can't be used for 18 years. So moving on. Moving on, guys. Main topic of the week. We watched Wandavision. And personally, I think it's great. What do you guys think, huh? We watched the first 3 episodes because that's all that's available right now. I realized that a couple weeks ago, the first 3 episodes went out as screeners to critics and stuff. Us, lay people, we had to watch it when it came out. But now that we've seen all 3 of them, I mean, I'll just go ahead and start. We'll start with non-spoilers. We'll get into spoilers. I'll tell you guys when we're switching over. I think it's excellent. I think the first 2 episodes were an awesome, like trip down memory lane as far as television is concerned, with the late 50s and late 60s aesthetic, especially the way that the jokes were written and pretty much how all the visual gags really played out, where I thought those were stellar as well. And then in episode 3, we finally get to like the color aspect so much, and then we finally get to see at the end of that episode what's really going on, and I'm fucking in there. So I want to know what you guys think.
I saw a great headline that kind of sums up, which is Wandavision is disappointing and no one wants it. It was just, there's something about it that is just not drawing me in. I do agree that I like the sort of nod to like old television, but for the most part, I'm just wondering, like, what is the point of going through all this? Well, however, one takeaway that I do have, my biggest takeaway is the fact that watching this, I actually really like Elizabeth Olsen now. I think she's hitting like all of her comedic marks. She's doing really well in this role, as opposed to the Avengers, where she was just there. She was just there, and her role was just not being Scarlett Johansson. But here, she's actually like shining, and like she's actually really good in this role.
Yeah, do you think they actually conceived of this whole concept when they brought her on board?
Not at all. There's no way.
Because it's interesting that, true, like she was able to fall into that character.
And I mean, to his credit too, I think Paul Bettany's great on the show as well. Like I think he makes a lot of
100%.
I think he makes a lot of great choices as well. And so I was also, Dan, before you joined us, I was telling these guys a couple weeks ago that the sitcom segments are actually filmed in front of a live studio audience. So that is cool. For real laugh. And I think that's cool. And I think, like I said, I think it's a testament to what they're trying to do. Like, personally, I think, like today, I was just saying to Liz while we were watching it, at what point are we going to cut to the real world and she's like in a straitjacket, like husking around like Vision's dead body, and this is all going on in her head or something, And we finally got a little bit of a peek of that at the end of the 3rd episode today, which we'll get into in a couple minutes. But to stay on target here overall, though, I mean, like I said, I even kind of felt that feeling of what's the point, like, of us doing this kind of. But now that I've gotten to a point where that you're starting to see behind the curtain a bit, I kind of see why they're selling it so hard, because they're making you ask questions the entire time. They're setting up what the payoff's going to be. I just hope the payoff is worth what we're all going through right now.
I mean, I kind of feel the same way as Danny, where it's just like, I just, like, none of the episodes, even the most recent one where you start to get a taste of what's going on, I still don't care. I kind of wish they went like the first episode was just kind of like, hey, here's the sitcom thing, really do that well, and then kind of like really dig into what's going on. I'm still left like, it's a cheesy sitcom, and I want to know what's happening, but I don't care enough to keep watching.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember though that this is, if they were going to experiment with some characters, this is like the perfect set to do it with. Like the people who can hop to dimensions and do really crazy shit.
100%.
You know,
I was gonna say I can understand where Nick and Dan are coming from, but the fact that Marvel still put their name on it, I like that it's so different from everything else we can expect.
Yeah, and you know what, Joe? To back that up, I'm glad that they finally just let something be fucking weird. Just like be weird, be different. Like the Marvel movies, the origin films that still come out, and maybe this is the reason why Captain Marvel was written the way that it was written, because they've gotten a lot of criticism about, even though that they're quality and people enjoy them, they start to fall into this cookie cutter shape after a while. And I feel like this does none of that. Like it's so far removed from
100%.
everything that they normally do. And I personally, that's something I like. I mean, you guys know me, the fucking tattoo. Like I love the fact that they're moving away from that. You know, I can't. I got the sleeve. It just, don't worry. It came up in the first week.
For some reason, I definitely got vibes. It was like it would be some strange project that like Joss Whedon would take on. Or like an early like Peter Jackson type thing. I don't know. Just like there's obviously a big story to be told, but the setup is totally out there.
Yeah, and you know,
and one thing that no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, one thing that is cool is they're at least showing throughout the entire series that there is something weird going on with all like the little advertisements that they're doing in the middle are all Hydra They're all Hydra products. And so it's obvious just by watching that, you're like, okay, there's something weird happening here. But like, like what Nick was saying, it's just the whole thing is like, but just, I don't know if it's enough to really keep me into it.
Right.
I don't know if this weird way in is enough to keep me going throughout the whole thing.
Well, Danny, I'm just gonna throw it back over to you for a second with this response. If you and I can make it through the fucking Witcher, we can absolutely make it through this show, because at least there is something going on, and the characters in the show don't change from scene to scene, like their motivations and what defines them as a character. So I feel like at least on that level, if you can get through something like The Witcher, this should be a walk in the park.
This is true. And at least like The Witcher, it kept stringing along like there might be monsters. Hey, there might be monsters coming. And then there was one monster.
Yeah.
One monster.
And it was in the first 30 seconds of the show, but that's a different episode altogether. We'll get to that when we do Witcher season 2. But yeah, I mean, I definitely I totally get that vibe too, that like maybe like the build up is kind of like, come on, we get to the fucking point already. And so let's actually just skip into spoilers right now for the next like 2.5, 3 minutes. Joe, I realize you haven't watched the third episode yet, right? Who hasn't watched episode 3 yet? Is that it was just Joe? Just Joe hasn't watched it?
Yeah, I just haven't seen.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to ruin anything plot-wise like that takes place during the episode, but I will just talk about the ending. Wanda actually throws someone out of whatever simulation they're in, like projects her right out of the simulation. And it's because she directly references Ultron killing her brother, which is something that she actually hasn't dealt with, or really Marvel as a whole hasn't dealt with that storyline since 2015's Age of Ultron. This is said to take place directly after Endgame. And we don't know where Wanda left off after that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think she, like, Avengers Endgame focused heavily on the original 6 Avengers. It didn't focus on anything else. And we haven't gotten...
Was she at the funeral service?
I believe so, because Hawkeye talks to her and tells her that, or Vision, like the Soul Stone, whatever, they talk to each other. But my point is that this is the first material we're seeing from that. So I think we're kind of all used to seeing Marvel's world plot move with every entry, or with every different Avengers film, or a different this. I feel like we're at that point now. At the end of this episode, we finally see what's going on MCU post Endgame, where we just got this brief clip of her throwing this person out of whatever is going on. So that's not like that right there. That whet my appetite. I want to know what else is going on now.
But here's the problem, though. You're telling me that you're excited for the next phase of Marvel movies, and they're going back to Hydra? It's like, I don't know. For me, it'd be like, I wish it was something new and different, but it's like we're going back to this, like we're retreading this shit.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Hydra, though, like I get the whole like villain fatigue thing, but I kind of feel like Hydra is like a mainstay in Marvel. You know, they're almost like...
It's always going to be lingering in the background.
Yeah, they're almost like any other unspecified extremist terrorist group that that just waits in the shadows until they come back, you know? Not naming anything.
There's gonna be
specific.
new villains along the way.
Yeah, like there's
it's like the Empire in Star Wars. Like like in the new Star Wars movies, it was like it's not the Empire, but it's basically the Empire that just comes back.
So you're referencing another giant major fuck up to say that this is okay.
But these guys are making watches now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay, so here's the thing. Actually, I'm glad that we're talking about this because specifically, this lines up directly with Falcon Winter Soldier. And Falcon Winter Soldier is going to take place in present day. It's going to move the MCU along, and it's going to focus on Anthony Mackie and, God, what's his name? Wannabe Luke Skywalker. Sebastian Stan. All of that is good. And if, like I said, if this is how they're doing comedy, I can't wait to see how they're doing action. On that note, this series cost $225 million to produce, all 8 episodes.
What?
Yup. So here's my theory. There's no specific breakdown just yet out there, and you're never going to hear Disney's accounting records. But we have advanced camera technology so far that you cannot shoot in those aspect ratios anymore without it still looking like it's being shot on a 4K camera. They have to get special cinematographers. They got to rent special equipment. They got to build different sets for every episode, different costumes, different hairstylists, different dialect training, different, what's it called? Pretty much redoing every episode has a whole new set. Plus, we don't know what the real action of this show is going to be quite yet in those later episodes. We're starting to see that now at the end of that 3rd episode. This whole show that we're seeing right now costs $225 million to produce. Falcon Winter Soldier is supposed to be like 200 million. So it will technically be on a smaller scale, but it's going to seem like a bigger show because they're, instead of these elaborate sets and like sight gags, it's going to be a lot of action. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is this series getting us there. Which is kind of not saying a lot of good stuff for this show. But
nope,
in a way.
Not at all. I was just going to say, you're not doing the show any favors.
Yeah, I mean...
But you make a good point. It's changing every single episode. Going from makeup, hair. I mean, that's probably why the cast is also so small. Which, you don't really see any more than 10 people on screen at a time.
Hold on. Is it, though? Because the first episode had 8 minutes of credits at the end.
I think that's every episode minutes of credits. But that's also Disney Plus in general, because Disney Plus has credits for every single international team that worked on the project, so they only have to create one source file as opposed to putting different files on different servers. That's to save bandwidth. That's definitely what that is.
Out of here.
Okay.
Don't need to see that.
Yeah, no, and
get me to the next episode. Yeah. I don't give a damn.
I'm not Mexico.
and you want to know what?
I've been on credits before, and I don't wait for my name to show up. Get me to the next one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just want to put this out there. Best part of the show, this guy.
Yes.
The communist.
Longest face in the game.
Yeah.
To that end, though, I will say it's kind of aggravating when you're used to Marvel, when you're used to a Marvel property coming out and having a post-credit scene, and you're like, maybe there'll be one this week, and you wait for 8 minutes to go by, and like, why don't we fast forward? I don't want to miss anything, you know, like you have that argument every week. And actually, before we move on, let's talk about that real quick. How do you guys feel about a weekly release schedule? I fucking hate it. I would rather just binge the whole fucking show.
All for it.
Oh my God, you guys are old men.
I'm for it. I'm much more for it. I mean, it's just I love the idea of destination television. I just love thinking like, all right, Friday night, 8:00, it's coming back out. I miss that because you don't get it that much. And also, I'm not a big fan of binging in general, just because I feel like when I watch so much of it at first, it's just not as much as sticking to it as I'm going. So then by the time I get to season 2 and I'm watching that, like, fuck, I don't remember what even happened. That happens every time with Stranger Things. I would watch so much of it in one weekend, and then the next season comes out, I don't remember a damn thing.
I'm just saying we've become accustomed to like everything on demand, obviously. And realistically, you can't have all these showrunners and writers just have like 4 amazing seasons released within 2 years back to back. Like, you need to span everything out.
I will say this though,
and also you just gotta stretch the anticipation. You gotta let the audience think about it. You gotta let the audience build. And also with you then get people like trending on social media. You get like, I think of Game of Thrones. Every episode that came out, it was always just Twitter was the best part of Game of Thrones. Just because you went on and you saw people talking about the episode, as opposed to like this, when every episode, like binging, where it all comes out at once, and it's just staggered memes from different episodes throughout.
Arguably,
social media is way better when it's week to week.
Arguably, Twitter was Game of Thrones' downfall, ironically. Either way, though, what I wanted to say just before that, though, we were talking about how binge watching. I feel like, though, they've learned. I feel like we don't need a fucking 13-hour long episodes in a season. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need that anymore. Netflix has learned. They cut everything down to like 8 to 6 episodes in between 48 minutes to an hour. It's a breeze to get through. Things are way more digestible. Like, the first 5 seasons of House of Cards was an hour episode. Some of them are like an hour and 10, 13 episodes per season. It was just a lot. It was a lot to get through. But now I feel like since they've learned, and especially I love this whole Disney Plus format of things being in between. Like, you're just telling a story. It doesn't have to hit a time. It's just you're telling the story through an episode. And whenever it's over, it's over. And then the next episode comes out next week.
You know what? I'm just gonna say, like, if you're into that, you know what format you might really like? There's this thing called Quibi. Super short. They're like 9-minute episodes.
That's enough. That's enough. Moving on.
Yeah, I'm a
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
All right, boys. Give me a second for my. I'm gonna start. I'll share this with you guys. I think this will be a fun one. I don't know why I did that like that. Okay.
Elmer Fudd.
Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Can you smell it?
It's Hoist and around.
Can you dig it?
Then let's get going.
You ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
That's what you get, kid. That's what you get.
That was so unexpected. I thought the horse was like gonna throw up on him, or like the horse was gonna jump over and step on him, or I was not expecting.
And the music is just
Going right for the head.
The dad seemed like he was only like halfway trying to help.
He's laughing. Look at him. He's laughing.
He's
That's
like
hysterical.
Like, oh, he's like, he's got a smile on his face.
Oh God.
He clearly has a smile.
You realize this is not my son anymore.
This is now this horse's son. Oh man, that was good. You know what though? I still think of the clip from last week with the guy flying into the
There he goes.
What does that lady say?
Is this a birthday party?
What is the Oh, with the horse? I don't know. Let's see. I feel like that the video last week though, I still crack up when I hear her say, "There's Santa." I don't think this is a birthday party. I think they're just feeding horses.
This looks like this looks like it's like their neighbor's backyard or something.
I love the abrupt cut, like.
What is it? That drum sound? It sounds like they got like a big marching band drum.
Oh man, we're definitely gonna get pulled down for that music for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a copyright infringement right there. If I've ever heard.
You don't think the Godzilla versus Kong?
I don't think Godzilla versus Kong. They encourage that stuff. Our trailer, our trailer reacts before we didn't get yanked down for, but the music definitely, dude. Fucking greedy record labels.
Oh, I gotta say before we end the show too, WandaVision. Where does that show take place? Because they called out Hackensack in one of the.
Oh, they did. They did.
You know what?
You're right. They did do that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's based somewhere in the suburbs of New Jersey because the Avengers compound is only like an hour outside of New York in like just above New Jersey.
Like the White Plains or something.
Canonically. I don't think it's White Plains. I think it's on the other side of the river. Like New York State.
It's in Westchester.
I mean like in Avengers Tower, well, I guess they got rid of it. Right? They sold that shit. I mean, either way, I wouldn't be surprised. They're East Coast based, you know?
With COVID, they're definitely working from home, yeah.
For sure. For sure. How did he buy that house? Oh, wait, this is all in her head, so it doesn't really matter. All right.
Oh, hold on. One thing. Did you guys pick up on? I totally missed this. Alexis picked up on it. There's that one scene early on in the first episode where, Vision's like, "Oh, my wife and her magic or whatever," and she says, "Oh, my husband and his indestructible head."
Oh yes,
like a reference to his head getting fucking popped.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's brutal."
Actually,
Also,
when that first happened, I said that to Liz. I was like, "I'm pretty sure Thanos ripped the stone right out of his head." Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also, I want to point out if this is post Endgame, do you think we're gonna get a cameo from Old Man Captain America?
Ooh.
Maybe.
Actually, he's the cranky old neighbor. I think.
I could see him doing the Joe Biden route in the MCU, honestly. But like, guys, come on, he was Captain America. Just let him be
he
president.
runs for president. Yeah. You know what?
He'll be good.
I don't think this show, but I wouldn't be surprised if he makes an appearance in Falcon Winter Soldier.
That's true. Yeah.
At the elderly home.
Yeah,
And that you can absolutely bet that, like, I imagine that that series is going to be about the two of them fighting for who gets to be Captain America between the two of them. And I would.
Didn't they hand it down already?
I get that, dude, but come on, they got to have some sort of conflict between the two of them. And originally, like, Comic Brain here, pretty much that shield went to both of them at some point. They both assumed the mantle of Captain America. And they're bringing in Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son, is playing U.S. agent, who's supposed to be the government's replacement for Captain America. So that will be their three-way conflict. So if definitely not he shows up, Old Man Rogers will definitely be referenced for sure, like a phone call or something. I wouldn't be surprised.
You're telling me that Kurt Russell named his kid after Wyatt Earp? Because he played Wyatt Earp.
I didn't think about that.
I want to say real quick, Falcon. I can see the scene right now. It's gonna be Falcon inside Cap's old Bronx home, and he's looking at photos and everything of the glory days, and then you're just gonna hear this faint voice from the distance. It's gonna be like, "Yep, those were the good times," and then you're just gonna see a shadow come down. It's gonna be Captain America on one of those stair lifts. You know, zooming down. He's like, I just got to get into my jazz.
Give me a minute.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Stalls midway through. Ah, shit.
Shit. It's like, oh, sorry, I'll move. No, not that. My colostomy bag. It's loose again. Like,
get the shield.
Get the shield.
Get the shield.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Get the shield. Okay, this has gone off the rails. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you very much to everyone who tuned in tonight. Remember, the audio version of this show is available on the podcast, all major podcast distribute, whatever. Fucking pick your choice. Either way, if you like this show, you can subscribe to this channel. And we do shows like this once a week. We're cooking up some new content too. Hopefully we'll be able to get back in the studio, right, gang? Because we have some good ideas that we can't do because we have to embrace each other, and we can't do that from this home setup. Right?
True.
Right. All right. Well, with that being said, thanks so much, everyone. Once again, I'm Pat. Give it up for Danny, Nick, Joe, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Thanks, America.